Be
Where
arrogant
else
and
you want to
cocky.
go?
Don't nobody do it like us, bro. Oh my goodness. We beat the brakes off y'all. Whoop that trick.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to A to Z Sports Game Day Live. Jesse Holley, former Dallas Cowboys, Skywalker Steel, Wild Card Weekend.
Yes, sir.
Dallas Cowboys versus the 49ers. Are you ready?
I've been ready all week.
All
Let's
week.
go.
All week. I got a question for y'all later, too. I want to know if y'all ready, but I am excited, Jesse. I've been saying for the last few days, I got to calm myself down when I'm talking about this game because I get very excited really quick. And on top of that excitement right now, for those that don't know, the Eagles are getting whooped on 24-0. So,
Make that
I'm sorry,
31-0
about to be. So, yeah, man, this is it. This is for everything right now, Dallas Cowboys Nation. Cowboys, Niners, Wild Card Weekend. A lot of talk this week. A whole lot of talk coming from a lot of networks and inside that building, in the Star, from the players. And I'm just ready, Jesse. I'm just ready. Seriously.
Yeah, this game, when you look at across the landscape of the playoffs, this is one of the most evenly matched games. When you look at the two teams and what they both bring, their strengths, their weaknesses, our strengths, our weaknesses, this is one of the most evenly matched games. And so a lot of people are saying, will the Cowboys be able to meet the physicality that the San Francisco 49ers bring?
Yeah.
And will the 49ers be able to meet the track meets, fast-paced
Potential
style
offense, yeah.
that the Cowboys bring? So this is one of those deals where styles make fights.
Yeah.
And whoever can get theirs off, I think, first, and whoever can get theirs off clean will be the victor at the end of this football game.
It's one of those things where the Cowboys' strength is the Niners' weakness, and the Cowboys' weakness is the Niners' strength.
Correct.
So this, I think, is going to be an exciting matchup. But before we get into all of that, kind of want to catch up on some game day, catch up around the Dallas Cowboys this week, where we saw Will McClay get signed to an extension. Right, you saw all the other organizations lose their general managers and their head coaches, and every year it seems they want to come and get Will McClay, and Jerry said, not so fast, my friend.
Will McClay has the perfect situation. I get paid like a GM. I get the respect to do what it is that I do. I bring you good players, but I don't have to deal with all the rigmarole that normal GMs have to deal with. And I'm still in a position that when this is all said and done, and I truly believe that one day Will McClay will probably leave Dallas. Once his son graduates high school, I think he'll probably leave Dallas. But if they win, Will McClay gets a ton of credit. If they lose, Will McClay doesn't get any blame.
They're going to blame Jerry.
They're going to blame Jerry. They're going to blame Steven. They're going to blame a host of other people before they get to Will McClay. And so he's getting paid $2-3 million a year now. But I think Will McClay is in a great spot. I think Jerry and Steven and the organization values him, his opinion, his ability to bring players in. And when you look at this team this year, what they brought in, you got a guy like Malik Hooker, you got Jaron Kearse, you got Keanu Neal. You got a bunch of guys, KZ, for all under $2 million. Being able to bring those guys in and have them playing at such a high level, and this is how you make championship teams. Just being able to find those talented guys at a discounted rate so that you're now able to put that product out on the field, and it brings back to you, what do they call it? You put in a certain amount and you get back over that. So they put in a small amount. The risk reward for what they've done is tremendous. And Will McClay is the orchestrator behind all of that.
He found the balance of being Cowboys have been a great drafting team. Like it just is what it is. They have been. But now we've seen this year he's been able to go out and get some free agents and hit on these free agents. And let's be real. Again, last year they didn't hit on free agents, but no one blamed Will because he only is allowed to. They tell Will, here's the grocery list.
Right.
This is the kind of players we want. You go get them. And I thought he did find some players. We saw Everson Griffin. He left this year and had a good year.
We thought Everson Griffin. We thought Dontario Poe. We thought when there was a couple guys, we were like, oh my, we got these guys. It's gonna be all right. And they didn't pan out for us.
Yeah.
And then this year you got guys who tremendously
worked out
for us.
Absolutely. So Will McClay, man, congratulations to him. I think he'll be sticking around. Maybe one day he'll be the Cowboys GM. Who knows?
You're right. His last name's not Jones.
Well, go ahead and be Will McClay Jones. He could be the stepchild. No, but one of the players that he did draft, and it was a hell of a draft, was 2016 draft class Dak Prescott. And Dak came out and he had the same, Jesse, earlier when he got signed before the season. It was pressure is privilege. Mm-hmm. And I think that followed him. And whoa, what a donation here. Let me real quick. I just have to
super chat.
Shout out to our guy Reyes for the $50 donation, sir. Thank you very much.
50 for the 40 burger on the way.
50 for the 40 burger. I love it, Reyes. I love it. He drafted Dak Prescott, and Prescott said pressure is privilege. And I think that's carried with Dak throughout the season, right? You know, every time there's been a pressure situation that's come up, he's either taken responsibility if he's failed, or he said, hey, I got to be better, or things like that. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because an article came out yesterday, randomly, right before the playoff game. I don't know if this is Jerry's doing or what. We can talk it through here. But Jason Lockenford came out yesterday and said that there is rumblings in the building from those close to Jerry Jones that if the Cowboys don't meet expectations this year, they could move on from one Mike McCarthy. Really? So I got to thinking, and in that article he talked about he doesn't want to lose Kellen Moore. Does this smell real Jason Garrity, Wade Phillips-ish to you? And who's under more pressure as well, Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy? That would be the second part of that question.
Let me start from the second part and work our way forward.
All right.
I think under the most pressure is Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I do believe that because Mike McCarthy has already won a championship.
True.
He's already a Super Bowl winning coach. When it's all said and done, what he will be able to take to his grave is, I got to the mountaintop. I won a ton of football games in the National Football League, and I got a chance to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. And you can never take that away, no matter how you may feel about Mike McCarthy. He is a Super Bowl winning coach. For Dak Prescott, there's been rumblings and talks, whether what side of the fence you've been on the Dak Prescott train. Ever since he got drafted and Tony Romo went down with the injury, there have been some people who have never got on the train and believed that Dak Prescott was the guy for this football team. There have been a ton of people who have gotten on the train and said, this is our guy. Yep. And we talked and fussed and argued for years upon years about the Cowboys giving Dak Prescott the contract that he deserved. And then he finally got it, right? He's making $75 million this season. And so when you look at that, when you go and you pay a franchise quarterback, you don't pay them with the anticipation of, hey, we want to have a really good regular season. You don't pay them because you want to have, you want to just win the conference, right, your division. No. You pay them that type of money because you wholeheartedly believe that quarterback can take you to the promised land. And you ask anybody, and I fought with people about this for many, many years. When people say, it's Super Bowl or bust. As a player, I'm going to tell you it is Super Bowl or bust, not just for Dak Prescott, for every other team in the National Football League. Yeah. If you don't win the Super Bowl, your season was a failure. So I think who has the most pressure on them, I think is still Dak Prescott. He still has to solidify himself as the guy. He still has to, because make no bones about it, quarterbacks in the National Football League are judged by one thing and one thing only. Championships. Yeah. And you can win all the games that you want, and maybe you go down in history, but at the end of the day, they are always looking at what is your win-loss record, and did you win the big one? And so for Dak Prescott, he has to be able to say, I won a ton of football games, I got paid like one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, and I won a world championship.
I think you might have swayed me because I was looking at this from I believe they call it a micro view, a small window. I was looking at this like it would be Mike McCarthy, because if the rumors are true that he doesn't meet expectations and he could be fired, you're not cutting Dak Prescott. You're not going to trade Dak Prescott, right? So I was looking at it from that way. But when you look at it from a macro view, that makes sense. More pressure being on Dak makes more sense. So I'm kind of swayed to go that way with Dak Prescott. But if I'm talking about right now, today, and tomorrow comes who's going to be on that hot seat, if the reports are true, which I think would be asinine, by the way, we can get to that, then it would be Mike McCarthy, because Jerry's clock, he said it, my clock's ticking. Not necessarily, I'm not trying to speak in that ill, but he doesn't have 30 more years to try to get another Super Bowl ring. So if something doesn't work, what is the easiest thing to switch? It's not the quarterback, it's the head coach. So I think in a micro view, it is Mike McCarthy. No pun intended. In a macro view, it is one Dak Prescott. Jesse Holley here, Skywalker still. We are in the Miller Tavern room at Texas Live, not Revolver Brewhouse today, but Miller Tavern, and let me tell you, it's packed.
Lit.
It's packed in here, guys. It's packed. It's a little red in here, too. I'm going to be real with you. There's some red in here, but it's more Cowboys fans than I've seen red. But I'm hoping for those that are at the stadium, y'all are loud and proud today because we're going to need you.
Yes.
Going to need you. Now, on the back half of that question, Jesse, what are your thoughts on Mike McCarthy and the pressure for this game? Is he on the hot seat? Does he have to win, not just this game, but at the very least an NFC championship? And would you be – you're a freaky Mike guy. That's your guy.
I am.
So, are you kind of two-and-done type if he doesn't get there? I'm not.
It's – we live in such a microwave time nowadays, and if you don't win right away, it's like, oh, replace him, get him out of here, get the new guy in here, and you don't really get a chance to do what you really need to do. But I do think there is some pressure on Mike McCarthy. Like I stated earlier, one of the biggest reasons why Mike McCarthy was brought here was because of that Super Bowl pedigree.
Yes.
He was brought here because he understands and knows how to get to a Super Bowl. He understands and knows how to manage quarterbacking and talent offensively and being able to put things in position to get his team set and ready to go to compete for championships. I thought he done a wonderful job this year with getting this team ready to go. We live in this new COVID world, so there were times where guys were in and guys were out. They dealt with injuries and so on and so forth. And I thought Mike McCarthy did a fantastic job with being able to manage the expectations, being able to manage each and every week all the things that were happening around the building and around the league. But again, make no mistake about it. It is Super Bowl or bust for Mike McCarthy as well.
Not more so than this franchise, more than any, right?
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is I don't think there'll ever. I know there will never be another window for the Cowboys than what they have this year. They're the number one ranked scoring offense in the league. Your defense is the number one ranked takeaway in the league. You potentially might lose one or both of your coordinators next year. You got a home playoff game. I mean, there are so many factors in. You may never have this opportunity again. So when you talk about windows opening and closing, this is one of those unique windows because next year, Tyron gets a year older. Zeke gets a year older. Dak gets a year older. Jerry gets a year older. Dan Quinn might be gone. Yeah. Kellen Moore might be gone. So you might have a new guy coming in, and now you have to start all over again. So this window is so important for this football team and this head coach that you have to be able to capitalize on it because this team will never be the same again.
Literally. I know it's not an exaggeration. There's usually, about 30-35% turnover every year. So you're never, when you're looking at locker room, the guy next to you may not be there next year. That's just the truth. So, and this is the best opportunity I've think since 2007 maybe when the Cowboys had, D. Ware and those boys, that good defense and that high-flying offense. So it's been a while. We've been in the playoffs 14, 16, 18. But this team, I think, is the most balanced team, not necessarily just, rushing, passing, but offense, defense, and, yes, special teams. I know Voldemort is the kicker, but, I think Bones has done a good job, 3 block punts, things like that, right, and return yards and all that. So I think this team is just well-balanced all around, more so than it's been in a decade or so.
I mean, outside of your kicker, your punter is a Pro Bowler. You have 3 block punts on the year.
C.J. Goodwin's a
dog.
Come on now, yeah.
You got 3 block punts, 2 back for touchdowns. You have a kickoff return back for a touchdown. Your special teams is a decent unit, a really, really, really good unit. Your kicker is sus, but other than that,
it's a good unit.
Every unit has been every unit has held more than their own all year long. Yeah. And each one of them have been able to complement each other. When one has been down, the other one has picked them up, and vice versa. And you need that kind of continuity and that consistency throughout the year to get to a 12-5 record, to find yourself in a playoff home game and being able to, potentially now get ready to win a game and go to the divisional round.
Yeah, they should be treating this thing like, there is no window. Granted, I hate to use the term, but it's a term everyone uses, the window, because your core is technically here for a while, right? The Daks, the Zekes, the Amaris, Perry's, Lambs. Like your core is here. Your offensive line, your defensive line, your linebacker, who we'll get to in a second.
I like that.
The linebacker's here. Not mine. I didn't coin it. I don't want people to think I coined that one.
Did you come up with that one?
Nope. That was coined by somebody on Twitter. I don't know if it was Michael Gelkin or whatnot. But
that is amazing.
The linebacker, because he's really out of position, right?
Sheesh.
But anyway, Diggs and all these guys.
T-shirt.
I think he is. Yeah.
If he doesn't have that one,
I know.
I love that.
But nonetheless, it should always be looked like, hey, this is the year. And I love the saying, why not us? This is the type of team that you can say, why not us? Like you just explained. We just talked about having a balanced team all around. Why not the Cowboys? All right, let's get to the matchup of the day today. The matchups of the day today. And I kind of want to start individually on both sides of the, on one side of the ball, then we'll go to the other. Okay, and I want to start with the Cowboys matchup against the Niners defense. And we can go kind of unit to unit, or we can just speak overall in general. But I think without a doubt, Jesse, this game may be won or lost in the trenches on that side of the ball. I understand the Niners, they're going to run what they run, but I think the Cowboys' offensive front has to block this Joey Bosa, Eric Armstead. The interior is one question mark you have that I want you to expound on. Because if they can block it up, then you're able to take advantage of what we talked about is their weakness, right, which is the secondary. But your kind of overall thoughts on the Cowboys' offense going up against this pretty dang on stout Niners defense.
Yeah, for the Cowboys, they have to come out and do what they do. And for me, that's strike and start early. You can't have a slow start. We've seen them have some slow starts throughout this year. But where I'm looking at for me is –
did I say Joey? I meant to say Nick. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, sometimes it gets confusing. But my concern is up front, the line of scrimmage in the trenches, and it's going to be Tyler Biadasz to Connor Williams, that center-left portion of the Cowboys' offensive line. And the reason being, when I watch film throughout this week and I watch those guys, Eric Armstrong being Armstead being the main guy, is the way that he is able to what we call recreate the line of scrimmage. And what I mean by that is that the ball's on the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
And at the snap of the ball, if he's able to get penetration and knock guys back to the 41-yard line, then now he's recreated the line of scrimmage. And now when you think you've gained a yard, you're actually back at the new line of scrimmage. And he's done a fantastic job at that all year long with getting that penetration, with recreating that line of scrimmage. And another thing that he does is what we call is getting the running backs to stop their feet. Is that when you got a guy like Tony Pollard, when he gets the ball, you want him coming downhill full speed ahead. Zeke Elliott coming downhill full speed ahead. But when Eric has been able to get that penetration and it's been in the middle of opposing team's offensive line, it makes that running back now has to get it paused and maybe jump cut or find another hole. Well, what does that do? That gives their all-pro linebacker, Fred Warner, an opportunity to now shed his block and get to the ball carrier for a no gain or tackle for loss or a little gain. So being able to hold that front, and for Dak Prescott as well, if I'm going to be able to attack your weaknesses, and that is your secondary with some passes down the field, then I'm going to need some time up front. And we've since you've learned how to, watch film and quarterback players, you want to keep the middle of that pocket clean so that quarterback can step up, because why? You have a Nick Bosa who's coming around the edge. So I need my quarterback to be able to step up into that pocket, a clean pocket, keep my eyes down the field, allow those routes to develop so we can make big plays down the field on their weak secondary.
I think this is going to be a game where Kellen's going to have to help that front. I don't know that you just want to man up and with this front. And let me go to this visual real quick because I want you guys to see some of the things I'd like for him to do. More misdirection, I think, will help out with that line, right? Get them thinking one way and then go the other way. More 21 personnel sets with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott out there. I'd like to see, sometimes they do this, Ezekiel Elliott will be maybe a yard or two off the ball just to help out Connor Williams and Tyler Biadasz in case they do get that quick penetration. Zeke is there. This may be a game where, and you talked about if Eric Armstead recreates the line of scrimmage and makes the running back stop, Zeke has been, when he's healthy, has been great at those jump cuts, right? We're going to need that vision in the run game, but this may be the game where we're really going to need his pass blocking.
Yeah.
We talk about the complementary part of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Well, this may be that complementary game where maybe TP's your explosive guy, and Ezekiel Elliott is a guy that helps jam a Jones, who's number 93 is really damn good. Eric Armstead, number 91, or Nick Bosa with a chip. But they're going to have to do things like that at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Kellen can just come out here and think this is 2014 and they were like, our guys are better than your guys. We're just going to line up and we're going to run our plays. We're not going to give anybody help up front. I don't think they should do that today, Jesse.
No, I don't think so either. And another thing I don't think the Cowboys should do, that we've seen them do sometimes in the past, is Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin, let's not line them up one-on-one with Nick Bosa. Like, let's not.
They should learn from what happened yesterday in that Cincinnati game. Did you see that?
Yeah. Let's not do that. Like, let's not be arrogant enough to think that we have good enough tight ends where we can line them man-to-man up on pass rushers like that. And again, I think the misdirection absolutely is something that they can use. But I also think the quick game.
Yes.
The quick game, that neutralizes some of that penetration. When you're able to get the ball out quick, and I don't want to line Zeke up way outside and throw screens to Zeke outside, right? I want to get the ball to my playmakers, to my Amari Coopers, to my CeeDee Lambs, to my Tony Pollards.
Yes.
I want to be able to now stretch the field horizontally and now make them, Fred Warner and that group, have to play sideline to sideline, defend every blade of grass, and really make them run. Because I like when Tony Pollard is in space. I like when CeeDee Lamb is in space. Amari Cooper is in space. Ed Wilson is in space. So using that quick game to negate that extremely aggressive pass rush will keep them at bay, will keep them thinking for just a second, that allows more blocks to get on them, and now they'll be able to convert that into more downfield passes.
And that's the thing, the downfield pass, I would imagine that the Niners are coming to this game saying we want to stop that. And that's what they did last week against the Rams. They played their corners way off of these wide receivers, and you would think it's lunch money. But we know Matt Stafford is a stubborn son of a gun that wants to throw the ball deep. We know they want to set that stuff up. I think Dak, I know we can attack them deep. That's their weakness. But I think they should take some of those quick slants, some of those 5-yard outs. Just get 5 and turn it into 7 or turn it into 12 or what have you. Don't play into their hands. You can still dictate this game offensively, but it's going to take a little bit of balance. Listen, wonderful run defense. They have a great run defense over there. But you're going to have to be able to run this ball efficiently sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want this to turn into a 50 pass attempt game, right? But if you're going to go the Tampa Bay route, remember, week 1, didn't run it a bunch, but there was a ton of long, extended handoffs, including some of these plays right here. This is what I consider a long handoff.
Yeah.
That's the quick game you talked about, getting Tony Pollard in space, right?
Right.
Some of them fake screens and then going deep. You got to mix it up in this game. I don't think you want to give San Fran just one look. And if the theory, I like the tinfoil hat conspiracy thing comes true today, maybe we will see some mixing up, because we've both been saying this for a while, and so have the fans. Something just didn't feel right with the play calling in regards to holding back, right? It seemed a little bit more conservative-y, right? Have you seen that play ran in the last 7 weeks?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'm wondering if they bring that back out today, or bring something similar back out today, and they should, because you need to mix it up against this aggressive front seven.
And and for the Niners, they have realized that they don't have good corner play, so they've converted themselves to play a bunch of zone now, right?
Zone, yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've heard all year long, and it baffles me and it blew my mind, because people be like, well, they're playing too high shells, so the Cowboys can't get the ball down the. And I'm like, that is not the truth at all.
Amari shut that down.
Right, like that's not the truth at all. But when you watch, if you had an opportunity to watch some of the some of the Tampa Bay game today, you just watch earlier in that first quarter, Tom Brady said, I'm going to take the hitch there, I'm going to take the slant there, I'm going to take the over the ball to the tight end there. And they just methodically move, I'm going to run the ball here, and they just methodically move the ball down the field, and they put these drives together. I think if the Cowboys can take anything from that Tampa Bay team, it's that. It's if they're going to play off, if they're going to play a zone, it's okay to take the 6-yard hitch. It's okay to take the tight end over the center pass. Like all of those things.
Your opportunity will come.
And then once you get them to bite up on that, once you've cut them 1,000 ways with those short passes, eventually, because players can't help themselves, defensive coordinators can't help themselves, they get nosy, they get greedy, and now they start to jump up on those things, and that's when you can hit Amari Cooper or Ced Wilson or CeeDee Lamb or one of those rat fours behind those linebackers for big plays.
Yep.
So early on, Dak can't be greedy. Aggressively take what they give you, allow your playmakers to make plays for you, keep the chains moving, and eventually your spot will come.
Yes.
And when it comes, you can't waste it. You can't waste the opportunity when that time comes. You got to hit it, you got to convert it, and you got to make them pay.
They don't do a ton of – we talked about zone. There's not a ton of man that they'll run here. It's a lot of zone, but they will blitz a corner, a slot corner. They will blitz a Fred Warner, right? It's very rarely. They don't blitz a ton. It's a very low percentage. In fact, I think there was something like 29th in blitz rate. But they can – because they like to get home with 4. They want Joey Bosa. They want to get Eric Armstead. And dang it, I keep saying Joey.
I know.
Nick, one of them Bosas. They want to get one of them Bosas home. I've been saying Nick or Joey all week, bro. All week. They want to get the Bosa home. They want to get Arden Keys, another guy that you got to watch out for. I believe the LSU guy. Wasn't the LSU? I think it was LSU. He's got like 6.5 sacks. So they've got a good 6 or 7 or 8 guys they can run out there, kind of like Dallas, right, where they're going to run that gang of defensive linemen at you. They got a talented linebacking crew too. You can sleep on the Greenlaws. 51, I think, is Owls. I don't want to butcher his name. And then obviously the Pro Bowler in Fred Warner. So that is the Cowboys' offense against their defense. On the other side of the ball, though, is where I think that the tempo, the pace of the game can be dictated by the 49ers, because they are a team that will run the ball stubbornly, and that's usually how you try to control the game, is by running the ball and time of possession and things like that. It's so crazy, Jesse, because we came in a couple weeks ago and said, your confidence, or who's the team, who's the side of the ball that you'll lean on? I was like, defense. Then we got this matchup, and I was like, well, I like our offense better in this matchup. Not saying that I'm doubting this defense. Right. It's just that I know offensively we can get going against anybody at any time. Defensively, we haven't seen a team yet this year that is going to run the ball stubbornly like this team. So I just don't have it on tape yet, where I do have the defense putting up – the offense putting up points on good defenses when they need to. But I don't have it on tape yet, where I think Shanahan is going to run this ball at least 40 times a day.
And it's not that they just run the ball stubbornly. It's how they run the football. They run the football from so many different looks. That is the biggest key about what they do. We've alluded to this all throughout the season. They're probably one of the most motion.
Oh, yeah, pre-snap
motion shifts.
Misdirection.
Yeah. They want you to get so confused. They want to be able to move this thing in so many different formations, in so many different ways, and line up running backs outside and receivers inside and receivers in the backfield. We know what Deebo Samuels is, who's probably one of the most physical runners.
He's the best wet back we've seen. He is what everybody wanted Tavon Austin to be.
Yes.
That's what he is.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. It's the running it stubborn is one thing. It's the creativity in which Kyle Shanahan and this offense runs the football. Yeah. They're going to give it to you RPO. They're going to give it to you misdirection. They're going to give it to you on sweeps, on counters. It's going to be a variety of things to do. And the thing about this team is that everyone has bought into the run game. So guess what? Receivers are going to be blocking safeties and cornerbacks very hard. Tight ends, your Kittles, are going to be blocking. One of the best blocking and perceiving tight ends in the National Football. It's going to be blocking you very hard. That offensive line, they're going to be swinging guys and trapping guys, and all that type of stuff will be happening all day long. So you need guys like Leighton Vander Esch to be on his game. You need Micah Parsons to be on his game.
Insane.
One of the things that is important about playing the 49ers, we talk about gaps and fits and alignment and assignment. You got to fill a gap. If you're supposed to be in the gap, you got to be in the gap. If you're supposed to be, a certain yardage, you got to be at that certain yardage, because what they want to do is move and shift and get guys out of position. That's what the pre-snap motion does. Can I get that linebacker to take one step out of position so that now my guard can get up to him, and now I have a much more solid block? I'm sorry. Can I get that defensive end to get a little bit too wide so that now I can kick him out and Deebo Samuels can come around and find the crease and get the ball upfield?
You mentioned defensive ends, and DeMarcus Lawrence talked about this in his pressers or his interviews. Got to contain the edges. You have to be disciplined and contain those edges. What do you think about this? Because I've been thinking about it all week, trying to figure out, so what is the best way to attack this run game? And I say attack the run game because I think you have to attack it. I don't think you can just sit back. So here's my thought. Do you just load up to stop this run? Do you just put a bunch of bodies in the box? Because I think a lot of what they like to do is send the cavalry on those sweeps and on those pitches and just create car accidents and wrecks, just a bunch of car wrecks on the outside, have you falling all over the place. And Elijah Mitchell does a great job, has great vision. All he has to do is find one car wreck, and he hits it, and he can get you something that will turn from 5 to 12. So I'm thinking, well, why not put a bunch of bodies up there and then make Jimmy Garoppolo, if it is a play action, have to beat you one-on-one, where his percentage goes down against cover 1. He's 57 completion. But he does have guys that can get open. But you got to figure out a way to beat them. My way, I would think, would be to load up. What do you think about that?
It's
a risk.
It's a risk. But my way, and I don't think your way is a bad way.
Okay.
And my way is you got to get up 28 points.
Okay, so you want to get up on these boys early and run them out of running.
You have to make them solely depend on Jimmy G passing the football. Because, honestly, I don't like the one-on-one matchup with Kittle and J.K. While I think J.K. has done a great job, I don't want that. I don't want that matchup more often than not. I don't like the matchup with Anthony Brown and Deebo Samuels. I don't like the matchup with Anthony Brown and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, those are playmaking guys. And Deebo, one guy ain't bringing Deebo down. So when he gets, if Anthony Brown misses the slant because we got all these guys at the line of scrimmage, Deebo gone. If J.K. misses the jam or he subbed out and somebody else is in, I think
so. If you go a little bit more zone, you have more bodies that are facing the quarterback to tackle better.
To keep everything inside, and like you talked about Matt Stafford being a stubborn SOB. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the same way. Yeah. When he make him have to pass, I think he's going to try to force the ball into places where it shouldn't go. And I want to do what people have done to us in Dak Prescott this year, is make him have to figure out through zones where the football should go. I don't want to give him clean looks where he knows here's my target because there's 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm not saying that there can't be some of that, but there has to be a good mixture.
I'm with you.
A good mixture of it.
I said this during the week on my show. Dan Quinn and this defense is mostly a man defense. And don't change your stripes, right? Tigers don't change their stripes. Don't change your stripes. Be you. But I do think there needs to be a little bit of some disguising going on, because if you go back and look at that first half against the Rams, they would trick themselves, in my opinion, talking about the 49ers. And they can do that a lot. They can get cute and they mess themselves up and get behind the chains.
Right.
But a lot of the times they'll do all this misdirection, there's all this cute stuff, but they only send out 2 people into a sea of 7.
Right.
Into a sea of 5, right? So that makes it harder for Jimmy Garoppolo to find out, or he has to wait, boom, pass rush gets there. Or wait, I got to try to fit it. So I agree there. There needs to be a healthy mixture and not just – what I don't want to see him do is what happened against the Raiders, where he stubbornly on 3rd and 18 went man cover. Right. Like, don't be silly. You know what I'm saying? Have a healthy mix of confusing Jimmy G when he needs to. But what it's going to come down to is Kyle Shanahan ain't even going to let this game get into his hands.
Kyle does a great job. He's probably one of the greatest coaches in our game today with taking the ball and protecting it while giving his quarterback freedom. Like, he protects Jimmy G, and that's why that running game is so vital to them, because if Jimmy G, they want to have Jimmy G 23, 24 passes attempts throughout the game. And they want to have 28 to 32 rushing attempts minimum. They don't want to. The Cowboys, and this is why up-tempo, this is why getting a lot of plays in, is where the Cowboys want to be, because the Niners want to slow this thing down.
Yeah.
They don't want to have 65, 75, 80 plays. They want to have 50, 55 plays total. And they want to grind. They're not afraid of an ugly football game. If this thing isn't ugly, it plays into the favor, into the hands of what they want to do as far as the Niners. So the Cowboys have to be able to come out early on and truly and really be able to do their brand of football, score some points early, and force Kyle Shanahan to say, all right, Jimmy G, now you have to pass the football.
And pass the ball not out of play action, because he's pretty good out of the play action because they run all that east-west. But if you're up on these boys, or if you can stop the run game, then that play action doesn't matter, right? Like, you get up 17-0, okay, whatever, you're going to run the ball. And Jimmy threw 2 interceptions in that game, and one of them was off of one of those play actions where they sent 2 guys out on the route, only 2, into a sea of 5,
right.
And he threw an interception. This is Jimmy. He ain't gonna change his stripes.
Right.
He's a guy that 11 turnovers into 6 losses, 3 and 4 when he has to throw the ball 30 or more times. He has the 6th highest interception percentage of quarterbacks with 400 pass attempts, and in the playoffs right now, he's second behind Matt Stafford in turnover-worthy plays. So Jimmy is going to give you opportunities. We talked about that. You just have to make Shanahan put the ball in his hands to do so. In the playoffs, under Shanahan, he ain't really done it that much. Okay? There was a game when they went to the Super Bowl that year where he threw the ball, Jesse, 8 times. 8. The week before that, 19 times. So I'm coming into this game thinking that there's just no way he's going to throw that ball 35, 40 times today, unless, like you said, they get up or the Cowboys get up on the Niners by 17, 20 points, which, again, that's doesn't happen every week.
Right.
I mean, granted, all these blowouts are happening around the league now, but that doesn't happen every week. But I think the blueprint is simple. Make Jimmy Garoppolo have to beat you for 4 quarters.
And the thing is, and you do that because this is one of those man-in-the-mirror games. This is when you're Randy Gregory's. This is when you're Tank Lawrence's. This is when you're Micah Parsons. This is when your studs defensively, they have to take a stand.
Yeah.
They have to take a stand and say, we will not allow them to dominate us.
Period.
And because they're going to, and the thing is that when you come into this game, and this is why I'm not looking at the first quarter of this game. I'm looking at late second, early third, because it's easy to come out in a football game and say, and to be tough and to be energetic and say, they're not going to run the ball. We're going to be energetic. We're going to be physical. We're going to be fast. See, physical is a mindset. It's a built mindset from over the work and period of time. So early in the game, I may be able to withstand with
match your physicality.
Match your physical, blow for blow, because I'm in it and I'm energy. But when the game gets on and you now get longer in the clock at the game, will you be able to still have that intensity? Will you be able to still have that physicality, the energy, the effort to be physical? And that's what I want to see from this Cowboys football team is, will they be able to withstand the physicality in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, when those body blows really begin to hurt?
I tell you, I know one person who I think will, and that's Micah Parsons.
Yes.
The young lion is hungry, okay? He sat out last week, which may have been kind of a blessing in disguise there, right? You got a rookie who's played a ton of snaps, defensive rookie of the year, going to be defensive player of the year candidate, things like that. He's played a ton.
Right.
Not a bad idea to get yourself a little breather coming into this game, and you know he is starving. Just listen to him on the pivot if you haven't. Amazing podcast, amazing interview they did with him. Shout out to Ryan Clark, by the way. That was great. But I think Micah Parsons is going to have an insane game today. I text you that. I said, I just do. The last time he came off of a bye, which is essentially a bye, he went off for like 4 tackles for loss, a sack. He had about 10 or 11 tackles. I could see something like that happening. But I think it's going to take more than just Micah, right? You're going to need the D-Laws, like you said, your studs. You're going to need your Randy Gregory's. And we're going to need the interior. I think that's just like on the other side. I think the interior for the Cowboys defense is going to be key because they do a lot of those pull-ins and the traps and things like that. So if you can make things muddy for Elijah Mitchell, like you said, Eric Armstead makes people stop, makes the running back stop. If Osa can do that, or Carlos Watkins, Neville Gallimore, need you today. Need you today.
Today's
right?
your game. Today's a Neville Gallimore game. Like today's one of those games where we should be hearing Neville Gallimore's name consistently.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like Eric Armstead. I don't need you to make the tackle. I don't need you to have a tackle for loss. I need you to create havoc. I need you to create the bunch up. I need when that guy goes to pull that you blow it up, and now he has to stop his feet and go the opposite way. I just need you to disrupt their timing, their rhythm, and how they want to get their blocking scheme done. That's what I need from a guy like Neville Gallimore. Don't worry about making all the tackles. I got the guys behind you that's going to be able to do that, but you got to keep them clean.
Yeah.
I need you to keep Micah Parsons clean and Leighton Vander Esch clean. Leighton Vander Esch, today, my guy. If you're listening to our show, which you're probably not, but if you listen to it later, son, if you want to make a little bit more money, today's the day. If you want them to bring you back next year, today's the day. If you want to solidify yourself as the Wolf Hunter, today is the day, because they're coming for you. Make no mistake about it. You're the guy that they're looking at and saying, we're not going to let number 11 just roam free. We're going to try to have an assignment and alignment for him. But I like my back against 55 because you've put on film a lot this year that you don't want to come up and make sure you make all the plays. So if you want to make a little bit more money, today's the day where you need to step up 5-5. I need to see some of this, some wolf calling the day 5-5. Today is your day because they going.
I'm gonna be real with you, man.
They're gonna mouse to the house you.
I want to see a little bit more 27 up there at the linebacker position, if I may say so myself. 55, we're gonna need you to play out your mind, but no Keanu Neal.
Yep. Who's
been kind of struggling a little bit anyway, but he's out today. Cowboys depth at linebacker. It's one of those games where you need bodies because they're going to be trying to run at you all day. But Francis Bernard is back, so that's a body. I don't know that he's going to play much. I'm a little bit excited to see Luke Gifford.
Yeah.
Luke Gifford hasn't really played a lot of snaps consecutively. It's been in maybe a series or two and coming out. He may see more time today. So we're going to need those boys to step up outside of Micah Parsons because I think Micah's going to give everything he got. But I'm going to need the 55s and not the late Vander Esch's, the Luke Giffords, and if Francis Bernard is there, be Francis Bernard. But this could be a heavy, big nickel game, Bring down Donovan Wilson. Bring down J-Ron Kearse. You got 4 safeties.
Right.
Use them.
Right.
Use them. You know what I mean? All right, and then the last matchup, it's not really a matchup, but it's special teams. Because this is a 3-phase game. You're in the playoffs now. You're in the playoffs. Every phase matters, and we kind of briefly touched on it with Brian Anger and the kicker situation. I started looking more into it. At first, I was saying wash because, of our kicker. You think special teams, you think kicker, and then you get kind of down because you don't know what kind of performance you'll get from him. And the reason why I was saying wash was because Robbie Gould's a good kicker. I think Robbie Gould can go in here and he can nail any kick he wants to make because this is that type of stadium.
Right.
It's not hard on kickers.
Right.
But then you got the punter, though, who's a Pro Bowler and who's done a great job pinning teams back and setting up your defense. Their punter's just returning, right? He was injured, I think, last week. Not just returning, but he got injured last week, I believe, but he's back. So he's kind of a little hobbled or what have you. I think the X factor could come down on special teams to C.J. Goodwin. I don't think they have a C.J. Goodwin. Dallas does. And we've seen C.J. Goodwin, and we've seen even in this game, number 10, their special teams guy created a fumble in the Buccaneers-Eagles game. It could not come down, but those type of plays could swing and change a game. And if you got a number 88 back there returning too, he could swing or change a game as well. So I would give the advantage to Dallas special teams wide. Earlier in the year I was saying push because of Voldemort, but I'm going to go with Dallas.
And if we're being honest, like the 2 parts of special teams, yes, you do need that hitting yardage, right? When you're punting, because I want Jimmy G to have to go long drives. I don't want to give Jimmy G short fields. But the thing that is most concerning for us is our field goal kicker. And whether that's indoors or outdoors, whether it's extra points or whether it's field goals, I think that's going to also be a challenging call for Kellen Moore Because,
They talked about that, Jesse.
when do you go for it on 4th down now? When do you actually take the field goal? Or when do you punt it now? Because do you punt it or even when you score a touchdown? Are you going for 2?
He's missed more extra points than he has field goals.
So I think that also now puts you in a situation as a play caller, because sometimes if you feel like you have a competent kicker who can make kicks, you call plays differently. You might be a little bit more aggressive if you feel like your kicker can make a field goal, or you might do things more differently if you think he can't make a field goal. So I think that also plays a factor into it, and we can't negate that.
Right.
But there are those hidden yardages when you talk about special teams, and C.J. Goodwin is a damn good special teams player, man, and being able to pin the Niners back, and while we have an 88. They sometimes let old Debo, they let old Debo go back there and return some of them punts as well.
So you got to get him down.
So you got to get him down, and he's a physical runner. So, I think the biggest part of that is that when we have to punt, I think Anger's going to do a good job of getting punts off. And if we can steal a possession with the block punt, with something like that, then I think that is also a plus what we've seen the Cowboys do a lot this year. But when it comes down to that kicker, man, that is a liability for the Dallas Cowboys, and I hope that we're not finding ourselves having to make a decision on certain things because of the lack of confidence that we have in our kicker.
I think that was hinted at, that their thought process on some of these drives will come down to their faith in the kicker. He's such a strange anomaly in that in the 4th quarter, I actually feel better than I do early in the game. He's something like 15 for 16, or I could be off, but he's something like that in the 4th quarter. Right. And I think he's hit all his go-ahead attempts to win a game or to tie a game. So, and he's done that in his career, actually. He's been pretty clutch. So, in a way, he's clutch. But when you go look at the losses, you've lost by 2. You've lost by 3. You lost by 3. And in every single one of those games, he's missed 3 or more points. Yeah. So, good in the 4th. But we might need you in the 1st.
Right.
You know what I mean? Might need you in the 1st. All right. It is that time. I want to know, Cowboys Nation, and I think we still have some of 49er fans up in here, your score predictions for today's game, starting with you, Jesse Holley. What you got, man?
Man, let me do it. I got 3 keys to this football game.
Sum it all up, and then your score prediction.
My keys to the game is the Cowboys have to do a great job in that offensive interior. The center to the left guard being able to shut that pass, that push inside down early in the football game. I think the matchup with George Kittle, being able to keep George Kittle under control and not allowing him to get out there and do different things. And then defensively is when there's an opportunity, because Jimmy G will give you an opportunity.
Multiple.
You've got to go and make the play. You cannot give up opportunities. And I think the last thing, penalties.
That is very key.
Penalties. On defense, the Niners have the most defensive pass interferences in the league. Attack them. Offensively for the Cowboys, don't allow yourselves pre-snap penalties. Don't kill yourselves on 3rd downs when you're driving the ball with a holding, with anything like that. We know that Tyron might get an offsides or a holding P, but we got to limit those penalties. And to me, I think it's going to be a dog game today. Yeah. It's going to be one of those just when you leave this game, you'll know you were in a fight. I just feel like that's going to be one of those games today. So I got it Cowboys 24, Niners 20.
That's a dog fight right there. That's a dog fight. Everything you said, I'm not even going to try to expound on because you're absolutely right. Penalties you have to take care of. Blocking it up front, especially on the interior, you have to take care of. But I think this game will ultimately come down to the quarterbacks. And the Dallas Cowboys have the better quarterback. At home today, I think this offense will move the ball and score points. But I do think the Niners move the rock as well. They have the ability to sometimes put together very efficient drives and score touchdowns. The thing that the Cowboys are going to have to do is force them to kick field goals because they are the #1 red zone offense. Wow. You know where things get real easier for you with that misdirection? The red zone. Because all I need you to do now is to take one step this way and I go that way, 5 yards is a touchdown.
Right.
7 yards is a touchdown. 10 yards is a touchdown. And they're the number 1 team in the league doing that. And so what I think is going to happen is this Cowboys offense will have, I don't want to call it an awakening because at home they're averaging over 33 points per game. I think you'll see that kind of offense today. And at some point it'll come down to Jimmy Garoppolo having to go out there and putting together multiple drives on his arm. So I got the Cowboys 31-27. All right, both teams score some points. Both teams move the ball, but Dallas holds them to field goals at very crucial parts of this game. So that is my prediction for today. Let's see what some of you guys have up in here. 34-31 says Kendrick. 28-21 Cowboys says 1-2-3 ball. 50-17 says Jeremy.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to get that, man. Shout out to you, B. Wee, for the donation. 30-20 Dallas. He says it's our time. They aren't leaving Texas with a dub. Russell has 34-17 Cowboys. Florida Cowboys says 34-17. Fresh Fade has 30-20. 31-17 John. So a lot of Cowboys fans are obviously
in there.
A lot of 30. I mean, I feel good about that.
All right.
I think they, at home, Kellen is going to open up the bag, reach down or whatever you want to call it, empty the clip. You got to empty it today.
Got to empty the day.
You got to empty it today. The next week, you get the next week, you go get another one.
Yeah. 100 rounds.
Get the extendo.
100 rounds.
The drum, whatever you
100
want.
rounds.
You got to empty it today, man. You got to empty it. All right, I got one question, though, before we get out of here, Cowboys Nation. Before we get up out of here, I got one question for y'all, man. Just one.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
No, I said, are you ready?
Jesse Holley, Scott Walker still. This has been Game Day Live. Cowboys are coming up next. Let's go Dallas, baby.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!